Hi, I'm just going to give you a quick run through on the EV6. In this particular case, it's the GT line model. However, it also applies to the Earth model, and I will point out the differences. So starting here, you have this storage capacity in here is very good. You have a wireless charging pad here, in which you can see my phone on, and these light up green as long as it's charging, and you'll see they'll sort of go up slowly. Your phone has to be able to be wirelessly charged, and also your case has to be applicable as well to be wirelessly charged. You also have a cup holder here, and you have two cup holders here as well, in which there's a divider that you can take out and you can put back in. Then over here, every time you go and put the car inside the reverse, your camera will of course come up here. However, if you just wanted to, like here, if I'm sitting here and just want to see what's behind me, you can click this button. Now, this car is fitted with a 360-degree camera, hence why you can see all around me here. So you can see this car is parked very close. That's the one beside me. Whereas, other than that, then you can see what's in front of you, all around you, and then here, that's showing the front camera. So with the front camera, you have different settings up here. Once you click this, you can choose between, so full screen, showing exactly what's over here, but just bigger. Same with this, this is your normal screen that we will always pull up. And then if you click this one, it will show basically again what's over here, but in a bigger screen. You can also show the back ones. So if you had just reversed into a spot, I just driven to this spot, so it's different. But if you reversed into a spot, this would already show here. And then if you click it, you can choose between the same things again. So these lines will move when you're reversing, and it will sort of show where you're reversing into. You can then choose here, and it will show if you had a hitch exactly down, so it's the same as over here. You can choose again to see what's here, so it's exactly behind you on both sides. That's a camera coming from underneath the mirrors. And then the last one is a full screen again. You would then have this button here as well, which when you click it, you can scroll around the car just like this, up and down like that, and it's showing you a 360-degree camera of what's around you, so you can avoid obstacles. To turn off that camera then, you just click this button again, and that will go away. Again, once you go inside the reverse, that will go on and off itself. Auto hold, if you look up here, is already on when you get inside the car. So you just make sure that's on. If I click this, it goes off, and I'll put it back on. When it's white, it's on in the car. When it's green, it's in use. What auto hold does, it turns off the handbrake for you and it turns on the handbrake for you. So when you're driving away, it turns the handbrake off for you, and when you stop the car and you put it into park, it puts the handbrake back on for you. It also stops on a hill, so if I stop on a hill and I hold brake, this will go green, and it means I can take my foot away and I can sit there for a few seconds, and when I need to take off, all I need to do is hit the accelerator. The parking sensors button here just shows that the parking sensors are on inside the car. If I click this off, that turns them off. The only time you might need to do this is if you had a hitch on the car, if you were towing. I'll just turn them back on for a second. When your foot is on the brake, all you do is you twist this to the left for reverse, twist it to the right for drive, and if I didn't have my foot on the brake, and if I just move it, it'll go inside the neutral, or if you just lightly push it, it'll also go inside the neutral. So full press is drive, full press left is reverse, and as you see the camera comes on, and then light press, neutral. Park, you just click the middle button, and that puts the car inside a mode where it's stopped. So it puts on the handbrake, as it turned off there a second ago when I put it inside the drive. But it puts on the handbrake, and it means once I turn off the car, that's it. That's all you have to do. Hit park, hit off, and you're good. This button here is your start. So at the moment the car is on, you'll know because it says ready, so you're ready to drive. However, when you're turning the car on, all you have to do is put your foot on the brake, hit this on button, and you'll see this ready light comes up. If you're not wanting to drive away and all you want is to use the radio and stuff, just hit that button again, but without your foot on the brake. Now, because this is a GT line, you have a lot of spec in it. So you have the likes of your cooled seats, heated steering wheel, and then these are the cooled seats and heated seat for this side of the vehicle. So all you do to use them is you tap it, and you'll see it goes 3, 2, 1 with lights, and if I tap it again, it'll go 2, 1, and off. Obviously 3 being the coldest, 2, 1, and then off being off. Same for the heated, 3, 2, 1, and off, and you have your heated steering wheel on, 2, 1, and off. So down here you have your storage bin, nice big area for storage. Underneath this little flap, you have USB-C, that's just for charging. Then if I close that, and if I open this one beside it, that's a 12 volt. that basically just leaves you putting your dash cams or anything along the sorts. Then over here you'll see there is a yellow light on this currently, and there's a yellow light here, and there's sort of a line going between them. So basically if you click, this is a button in the middle, if I click it, it switches between the bottom and the top. And as you see, it goes between here. So the white matches with here, and if I click it again, the yellow matches with here. When it's yellow, and it's on this symbol down here, it will charge it, but it will also leave you connect to the infotainment system. So if you wanted to connect your phone to play music through USB, you'd make sure it's on the yellow. If you click it again, it goes to the white, and that means it's just going to charge it. Where this becomes useful is this car has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So if your phone was connected and if you were playing music through it and someone sat in and they asked to charge your phone, if they plug it into here, you can make sure it's on this and it won't interfere with your music by playing through their phone, etc. Now beside it, you can also use this for just charging. So this one just charges it as well. So currently as well up here, you have this screen. Now, currently this over here, as you can see, is changing the temperature. So you go up to the right and left is bringing down the temperature. You then have over here, this will do this side. So you can see it changing over here. If there's just the driver in the car to save on electricity and make it quicker to warm up on just your side, you can hit driver only. As you can see, this turns off. All you have to do to get it turned back on is either click that or change this again. Now, if you wanted both sides to be the same, so currently the left is 25 and the right is 24, if I hit sync, it'll make whatever you set this side to the same as on this side. You then have your plus and your minus for the blower motor, so you can go up and down, and it'll go from 1 to 8. If you want to turn it completely off, this is your power button here, you just click this in. Clicking this will cycle between the different modes, so bringing the air to your feet, to your torso or your head, or also getting the front screen involved as well. You also have your air conditioning, so clicking this will just turn it on and off, and then of course I went through the drivers only as well. Over here you have your front heated screen, your rear heated screen, your auto climate, which is 3, 2, 1 and off, and as you see it says here when it's 3 is high, 2 is medium and 1 is low. Basically that's the intensity at which it'll get you to your degrees. This button here then is your recirculation, so it'll keep the air recirculating inside the car. Handy if you have hay fever and you're going through an area now with pollen. Now, I'll just turn that off for a second. So this screen, as you can see, is your climate control. There's these 2 white lines. If you click anywhere between these white lines, it switches. So these 4 buttons here stay the same. Other than that, this becomes your power and your volume button, and then these become shortcuts for this screen up here. So your home button brings you to here, which will have your map, your radio, your electric vehicle statistics. You also have your phone projection, and then there's some other things as well, like car wash mode, which just makes sure that your windows are closed if you were going through a car wash. Your voice memo, you can save voice memos to your phone if you have that set up. Phone projection is your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which again you can either plug it in and have it wired, or you can have wireless. Phone will make your phone connected, and it'll be able to, like any car, you can have your Bluetooth so you can talk to people on the phone and stuff. Across here, the EV will show you your current battery. It'll show the closest charger, so there's one 1.2 kilometers away from me, and it's an ESP charger, so as long as you have the right charging card then for that. It'll also show the range down here, so 211 kilometers, and you'll see there's a little fan with a line through it. That means without air conditioning. If I was to turn air conditioning on, it would change to a lower number. Now, sometimes it mightn't, but it just depends. Across here then, you can click this and set your departure times. So if you know you're going to be up every morning 9 o'clock to be out the door, you can set these up so that every morning it is your car is warm and it's all nice and toasty at 9 o'clock in the morning. Your window is clear if it's going to be a cold day, all this. You can also set a charging limit. So you can set it so that at the moment it's at 100%. If you only ever want to charge it to 80% to prolong your battery life, you can set that by just dragging this along. It will then show that on a high power charger, that's how long it's going to take, so 19 minutes, and a fast charger would be 43 minutes. 80% is roughly 417 kilometers. Now, depending on your driving style, that may go up or down. So I'll just bring that back to 100%. You can also do the same that's a DC charger, an AC charger then as well, you can do the same thing. So that'll be a slightly slower charger. It goes through it here anyway. The AC charging settings, you can change a few things. You can change scheduled charging as well here. Now I would always suggest, if you have a home charger, set the scheduled charging on that. So if you ever did bring this car then out and have to charge on your way to Dublin or on your way somewhere else, that you wouldn't have to turn this off. Other than that, you can change other settings like locking the charging cables and changing the current that you actually get the charger. There's also this vehicle to load, so you can make it so that basically this vehicle can come with a vehicle to load adapter, which plugs into where your charger is outside and basically turns it into a 3-pin plug. You can change this so that when you're using it, it'll stop the power coming out once it gets to a certain percentage, so that you know that you have enough power to go home. So if you were using it and you wanted this to be at, currently it's set at 20%, so at 20% your vehicle to load will stop working, because it'll say you need that kilometers to drive home. Now if I hit home again, this is all just using online manuals and stuff. I'll show you that, they're just giving you tips. But you have your map here, which again will just bring up your map, and you can type in where you want to go. Air codes do work, which is very useful. These are all just tips again. So the first time you ever go onto this, it'll show you a few tips. But you can click search up here and type in where you want to go. You can also mute it by clicking this.
Guidance is at this volume.
Exactly. And you can turn them down, and you can change alerts as well. So alerts would be the likes of speed vans and stuff like that. If I hit home again, you can go across here, as well, you can save your home button and your business button. So if you wanted to go to home and work, you can set that and type in your air code, and then all you'd ever have to do to go home then is click there under there. If you hit this button, it'll show you a list of charging stations as well in the area. This is your radio, so at the moment it's on DAB FM. If you click it, all you have to do is scroll through which ones you want, hit star beside which one you want, and if I go to favourites, they will show up here. To get rid of them, hit the star again. You of course have AM as well, and I will show you then where the rest of your audio is later. So that's all them three. I've shown you through some of these. I will go through settings. A lot of these are just linked with your phone through the Kia Connect, which I will show later. But the last row here has, again, valet mode. What it does is you can set a speed limit, so that if someone was cleaning your car or something like that, you can basically give them the car and they'll never get above 30 kilometers an hour, for example. You also have vehicle diagnostics, which will just tell you anything that's wrong with the car. So if it's like a tyre pressure light or anything like that, it will come up here. Also, if you scroll to the last part, you'll see online manual. If I click this, and if I get my phone and go on to the camera app, all I have to do is scan this QR code, and it's the same as having the book that's in here. So it'll basically give you some details about if you're looking up what you want to do with the car. So if you're looking for a certain setting or a certain thing to do, you can also watch this video, is another side of it. So if I hit the home again, that's everything here. Map will just bring you a shortcut to that map button. The search button is very useful. So every search button in the car is brought to one place. So whether that's a place, an address, a setting, a contact on your phone, a song on your phone, anything like that at all, it's all in the one place. So if I wanted to search lights here, just make sure that that is spelled correctly. It will come over here, you'll see navigation, places with lights, but also over here then I can click lights on the vehicle, and I can change it so that when I hit the indicator it turns 7 flashes or 3 flashes. I can also go to ambient light here and hit colour, and currently you'll see this blue line along the car. If I hit red, that'll change to red. So you can do different things like that throughout the car. So search is your best friend basically when it comes to looking for anything in the car, rather than having to go through all the menus. When you're on a radio station, you have seek and track. It'll just change radio stations from going to the next one or the previous one. If your phone is connected, it'll go to the next song or the previous song. Media will show at the moment your radio, but if I click it again, it'll show your radio, so DAB FM, AM, Bluetooth audio, USB music, USB video, Amazon Music, and if I scroll across, you have your SoundCloud, Sounds of Nature, Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, so these will light up once they're connected. This star button then is another Kia specific item. So you have this, you have a full star here and you have a hollow star down here. They're both called custom buttons. So when you click them, it comes up at none at the moment, and as you see, custom button. And I can scroll through here and I can set it to do whatever I want. So if I wanted to bring it to home screen, even though you already have one here, I can make it so I click that, and if I hit that, it'll come to your home screen. If you want to make it so the display turns on and off, if I click this, your display turns on and off, click it again, there you go. So at the moment I'll just set it to none, but you can do the same with this button over here. So you can set it so that they do two separate things, whatever you want. You also have this mode button. While I'm here now, I'll show you it. So if I click the mode button, it again brings over here. And if you only ever listen to your radio and your Apple CarPlay, you'd click phone projection here, and you'd click DAB FM. Anytime I click that, then it'll switch between the two. You can click as much or as little of these as you want. So if you only wanted 2 and you only switched between 2, you can do that. Or if you only ever wanted, if there was 5 of them you wanted, you can click all 5. Now there is also these other settings that you can change here. However, I'm just not going to go fully through them. But basically what it is, they change what these buttons do here and also this button here. So you can just change what they do slightly. Other than that then, so that's the start. This setup button is all the settings in the car. There is hundreds of settings in this car. The main ones is use your search button, which is here or in the top right when you click setup. When you want to connect your phone, all you do is you hit setup, phone connection, and you hit add new. It will then come up on your phone and you can click KIA. It'll ask you if you want to connect and if you want to use your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and as well do you want to share your contacts. You can just hit allow for them or not. It's up to you. So in setup as well, you'll see KIA Connect. If I click that, it goes through exactly how you use it once you hit activate, but there's plenty of videos online of using KIA Connect, so well worth the while of downloading that app so you can see what percentage your car is on. If you're waiting for it to charge, you can look at it anywhere. This button here as well, file and tune. If I go to the media a second, hit DAB FM, this just changes stations like that, and you can click it in then to choose whichever one it is. So over here you will see there's this light here, and at the moment this little arrow is set to 0. If I move to auto, it'll turn the lights on and off as needed. So when they're needed, it'll turn on your dim lights, and when they're not needed, it'll turn them off. That's on every time you get in the car if you leave it to this line. However, if I hit it out, you'll see this comes on. That's the only thing you have to do then when you get in the car. So that basically just allows it to use your full beams. So when the full beams are needed, it turns them on. When a car comes towards you, or you're going through a built-up area, or there's a reflective sign, it'll turn them off. So that's very useful. If you manually want to do it then, you can just do this, and it'll put on your side lights, and this will put on your full lights, or your dims, sorry. You also have a reversing, you have a fog in this car, so it's here. So all you do is you push this down, you'll see it comes up on the screen, and if I push it down again, it goes off. Now I'll put that back to auto, because I think it's very useful. And this is your indicators as well, so you can just go up, down, and as you see, this car's GT line, so it does show when you're indicating if there's something passing in your blind spot. Behind the steering wheel here, you'll see 2 paddles. On the right, you have a minus, and on the left, you have a plus. Plus and minus here, what it's doing is it's changing down here where it says level 1. So if I hit plus, it goes up to level 4/I pedal is what it's called. And if I go minus, I can go the whole way down to level 0. Level 0 means when you take your foot off the pedal, the car will coast, whereas the more you go up in the levels, the more, as soon as you take your foot off the pedal, it'll brake for you. So the idea is, at I pedal, when you take your foot off the pedal, it's one pedal driving. So if you're driving around the city, if you take your foot off the pedal, you'll sort of see yourself, it's hard to explain, but the car will slowly come to a stop. This is recharging your battery a small bit. It also saves you on brake pad and brake disc wear. So it is very useful if you can get used to it. However, all you can do is you can change between level 1 and level 0 and level 4 just to see which one you like the most, or you mightn't like it at all. Then over on the right side here, you have this is currently set at 0. So if I brought it up 1, it's set to auto, so it's just after doing the wipers once, and anytime it needs it now, it'll do that. You can then bring it to 1 or 2, and when it's on these settings, you can fine tune it with this. So they'll get slightly quicker or slightly slower. Now I'll bring it down to auto here again, and if you brought it down to 0, and if you go, then you can bring 1 down and it'll just do 1 run of the wipers. If you pull it towards you, it'll spray the front window as well. Now getting to the steering wheel, you have your cruise control here in the top left, so if you're driving along at 120, you click this, it'll set you at 120. You can then set plus or minus here with the plus and minus, so you just push this up like that or down like that, and that'll set you quicker or slower by 1 or 2 as you're doing it. If you click this in, so physically push this button in, you'll see it's pause and play. Basically if you're doing 120, you click this in, it'll stop you, and then if you click it again, it'll bring you back to 120. While you're driving then at 120, if someone in front of you is doing 80, it'll slow down to keep their speed. This button here sets how far that button keeps you from the car in front. So it'll go far, medium or close, and whatever you've at last set to is what it'll default to. So it'll never hit them when you have your cruise control set, when all goes well. However, when you click this, it'll just set it if you want to be kept further away or closer to them. So over here you have the A4 sheet of paper. When you click this, you'll see there's 3 lines down here at the bottom, and it'll just scroll between these. So when I go to one of these, for example, you'll see there's these little lines here as well. I can scroll between them by using this here. So scrolling through here, you'll get your different trips. You'll see your tyre pressures, all that. If it does ask you to hit hold OK to reset it, you just push this button in and it resets it like that. Then down here is your lane keeping and lane follow assist. So when you're driving along, and if it sees the 2 white lines, it'll keep you between the 2 of them. Basically, if you hit the white line, or if you go over it, it'll sort of make a shuddering sound, and it'll also bring you back. So all you do, every time you get inside the car, this little light up here is on. When it's grey, it's on, and you'll see it go green when it's being used. If you want to turn it off, you do have to do it every time, but all you do is you hold this button for a few seconds, and you'll see this goes orange, and that means it's gone. Now you do have to do that every time, but the next thing I'll show you, if I click this once, you'll see this little steering wheel icon come up. Now this won't be on unless you click it, but if you click it, this steering wheel comes up, and if you hold it, this lane keeping assist with the 2 lines comes on. So basically, the lane keeping, while it waits for you to go hit the line to bring you back, this one doesn't wait for you to hit the line, it keeps you in the middle of the lane. So if you keep your hands on the wheel, it will basically steer for you to a certain degree. If you don't like that, just don't click it. So it's 1 click for that, and just make sure it's not on. And then this you do have to turn off every time if you don't want it, and all you do is you hold this. Drive mode down here will switch, it's in normal every time you get in the car, and as you see the kilometers just slightly declined. So we're currently in sport mode. If I click it again, you go to My Drive, which sees how you drive and bases it off that. Snow will help you in the snow. Eco gives you the most kilometers and also reduces the throttle response slightly. And then if you go to normal, that's your every time you get in the car. So all it really does is it changes your throttle response a small bit and just changes a small few things about the car to get you a small bit more or less range. So this mode button and this button I've went through. This one here is the same as Seek and Track, so it'll change stations. This button over here, when you're not connected with your phone, you can tell it to change radio stations. If you have an iPhone connected, you can hit this and it's the equivalent of saying Siri. And if you have an Android connected, it will do the same things you can do with OK Google. So you can tell it to phone people, you can tell it to play music, all of that. You have down here, if someone's phoning you, you click this, it answers a phone call, click it, and if you're on a phone call, you click it, it declines it. Then this is your volume, so plus by scrolling it up, and minus by scrolling it down. In this car, if you're driving over the speed limit, it'll bing at you. But if you hold this button in, so hit the mute button, but hold it longer, you'll see speed limit warning sound is off, and you'll see there's a little mute button here beside this little speed limit. Basically that stops the binging. You do have to do it every time you get in the car, however. Down here, you'll see there's a traction control button. That's to turn on and off your traction control. This is your handbrake, so it works like a normal handbrake of pulling and pushing. You pull it and you push it with your foot on the brake, and it'll turn it on and off. However, you shouldn't have to do that. It should do it for you. Over here is to open the charging bay. Now you can also just click the charging bay when you're outside the car and it's unlocked. However, by clicking this, it'll open. You click it again, it'll close. Holding this, you do have to hold it until it goes the whole way up, and hold it until it goes the whole way down, just as a safety mechanism. But that's if you have an automatic tailgate. If you don't have that, this won't be in your car. Here then, you have your plus and minus, and it changes how bright these screens are. So you can dim it, and you can bring it up as well, by just hitting the plus or the minus. Over here, again with the GT line, you get the memory seats, so you can hold these, and you'll see setting 1 saved. If I click this, it'll bring me to this setting. You can do the same, so you can save setting 1 and you can save setting 2 if there's 2 people driving the car of different heights. You will also set your mirrors. So to adjust your mirrors, you'll see L and R over here. So you just choose left and you move it like this, and you'll see that mirror is changing. So you use the arrows to change it. and then you use the right to do the same with the right one. You can keep it in the middle then, just in case someone clicks it. This button in the front will fold in the mirrors, and you click it again, it folds out the mirrors. Now for the sake of it, there's that little triangle on the mirror. Again, with the GT line you get blind spot detection, so if someone's coming up past you, this will go yellow. That's just showing you that there's a car in your blind spot. Then you'll also, if you tried to indicate while that was happening, it'll sort of give out to you. So when you click this, they'll fold in. You click it again, it'll fold out. And when you're locking the car, they will fold themselves as well. Also, when you're driving the car and it gets to 10 kilometers an hour, the car will lock itself. You can unlock the car by clicking this, and you can lock it by clicking this. You have your 4 window switches here. This button, when I click it, you'll see the orange light comes on. That means your back window switches won't be working. So it's not the same as child lock, because you still have to open the door and put the key in the door and twist it. It's on the end here to activate child lock. However, this just means the switches in the back don't work. Up here, if you tap the light itself, the light comes on. Same with this one. And if you hit this button, all the lights in the car will activate. Click it again, they'll go off. This button here just stops it so that when you open the door, that the lights don't come on, or they do come on. You have your SOS here, which will basically call the emergency services, and depending on the spec, again this GT line has it, you can click this back and your sunroof will open. If you click it again, your sunroof itself will open instead of just the cover. And there's also 2 sort of clicks to it. So if I click it here, you'll see that's going back. I click it forward, and there's a single click which is there, but there's also a double click, which would make it, if you wanted this to be completely open and it was already fully closed, if you double clicked it back, the whole thing will open. So the sunroof cover and the sunroof. On the back here, you also have a charging point. So it's the same here as it is on this side. So they're just 2 USB-Cs. People charging. Also, down here you have a 3-pin plug, so the same standard one that you would have inside the household. Now, to access it, you just slide this across and it's right here. However, sometimes they might be locked, so there's just a key here that you just have to twist back this way, so anti-clockwise, to be able to unlock this, and that will mean that you can charge from there as well. On the back seats, you'll see there's a heated seat, which is 2, 1 and off, depending on the spec of your car again. And you have your ISOFIX points as well here. Other than that, if you have the car from new, you'll get a Kia Assist with it, which is just down here. You'll see an 0818 number and you can phone them if you have any issues. Other than that, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully this answers any questions you have with the EV6.